Hello and welcome to part 2 of how to formulate a research question. So in the first part, we talked about what constitutes a good research question, and now we're going to follow this with examples on how to focus a research question. Make sure you come up with a clear and focused research question. So we were talking about one example before, and so why are social networking sites harmful? And this is not a very good question because first of all, it presumes that they are harmful. It doesn't specify which social networking sites we're talking about, and uh, it's it doesn't specify what harm is it causing. So a revised question would be, how are online users experiencing or addressing privacy issues on such social networking sites as Facebook and Twitter? So this is a much better research question. So a checklist for potential research questions in the humanities, for example, would be the following. Is the research question something I or others care about? Is it arguable? Number 2, is the research question a new spin on an old idea, or does it solve a problem? Number 3, is it too broad or too narrow? Is the research question researchable within the given time frame and location? Because you have to think about this. Do I have time to work on this in the span of 2 months? Because this is how long you'll have to collect data and do your research, etc. So you don't have time to do original research, as in doing an experiment, but you do have time to do a synthesis, a literature review, an argumentative one for that matter. So in research questions in the sciences and social sciences, while all research questions need to take a stand, there are additional requirements for research questions in the sciences because they need to have repeatable data. So in addition, you need to consider what kind of problem you want to address. Is your research trying to accomplish one of these 4 goals: define or measure a specific fact or gather facts about a specific phenomenon, match facts and theory, evaluate and compare 2 theories, models, or hypotheses, prove that a certain method is more effective than other methods? So those apply to the sciences and the social sciences. So research questions should address what the variables of the experiment are, the relationship, and state something about the testing of those relationships. So example, let me give you an example. Are females smarter than males? The question delineates the variables to be measured. There's gender and intelligence, yet it is unclear how they will be evaluated. So how can you define and measure intelligence, for example? So a revised question would be, do females age 18 to 35 score higher than adult males age 18 to 35 on the WAIS 3? So this is a standardized intelligence test. This research question produces data that can be replicated. From there, the author can devise a question that takes a stand, right? So be careful in how you phrase your questions. And now I'm going to move to some examples of unfocused research questions. So, what is the effect on the environment from global warming? This is very unclear, right? It's not focused because it's broad. It can be adequately answered in a paper. So a better, more focused question would be, how is glacial melting affecting penguins in the Arctic Circle? Why is this better? Because it narrows down to a specific cause, which is glacial melting, and a specific place and a specific group that's affected, penguins. Make sure you avoid too simple research questions or very simple research questions. For example, how are doctors addressing diabetes in the US? Why is this very simple? Because it can be looked up online and answered in a few factual sentences, right? It leaves no room for analysis. It's not arguable. You can't argue with it. So an appropriately complex question would be, what are common traits of those suffering from diabetes in America, and how can these commonalities be used to aid the medical community in the prevention of the disease? So why is this an appropriately complex one? Because it's written in two parts. It's thought-provoking, requires both significant investigation and evaluation from the writer. So I want you as critical thinkers to think deeply about this issue. So as a general rule of thumb, if a quick Google search can answer a research question, it's likely not very effective. So to go back to this, or to sum up, a good research question is that which is focused, which is clear, which is not biased, which is not does not assume something. It's free of logical fallacies, etc., etc. I hope this has been helpful. Again, this content will be given to you on Moodle. This comes from the Writing Studio from Duke University, and the slideshow was provided by Ms. Marwa Mahyo. Thank you.